Okay, so I wanted to make this video. I don't know if I can make this properly, but I wanted to show you guys something. Uh, this is the prop firm that I use, my crypto funding. And basically, when I go to my analytics, this is the analytics page, and I cannot download my trade history, right? If I go up to the trading journal part of the website, I can't download my trading history. I can't like go and download my trade history. So I had to use some code from ChatGPT. I had to ask it some stuff. How can I extract the data? And it told me to use Google Colab and stuff like that. So I did that, and I made some adjustments to the code. This is the code that I used to make a pull request that in turn gave me a a file where it would like give me the data from these graphs, right? And then I put that data into Hugging Face, and Hugging Face gave me a basically an analysis HTML file where I could visualize the data on this account, right? And I wanted to make a Twitter thread about this, and in some form that could make it easier for people to do or consume, because a lot of people don't usually like to watch videos, but this is like the best way I can do it, right? So this account, I've been trading this account since June, right? If I go all the way back, my first trade on this account was placed in, I think, June, second week of June. Let me just go all the way back. There will be no cuts in this video, so you're just gonna see the video straight up. So this is the last page, 131 to 138, so whatever this is. And you can see that the first trade, I don't know if it's gonna show, you can see 0627 07. So the first trade was placed on the 27th of June, right? So that's the end of June, and I started trading this account mostly in July. So technically I've traded July, August, and now we are in September. So that's about 60-ish days of trading on this account. And obviously the account is not blown, right? But I've been, I went into a very deep drawdown and I came back out of it. And the main thing I wanted to talk about is my equity curve. So you look at this, you can see it started around here and went into a deep drawdown. And all this here wasn't because I didn't have a profitable strategy. My strategy has mostly been the same. But most of this came as a result of me being scared to follow my rules to the T. I was taking impulsive setups. I was taking setups that weren't there. I was gaslighting myself into believing that I was following my model, when in truth, I didn't even know if I was following my model or not in some trades. Like, I just take the trade, and if it felt right, it felt right. If it didn't feel right, it didn't feel right. And it led me to make so many terrible decisions. And at some point at the end of August, I made a post on Twitter, and I was like, okay, cool. This weekend, I'm gonna go write down my model. I'm gonna go put my model on paper. I'm gonna put a set of rules. Since I like to say, oh, my model is profitable, I'm gonna make a set of rules that I'm gonna follow every single trading day for every single trade. And if those rules are not in place, if I don't see those criteria, if I don't see a particular any asset, if it does not fulfill what I'm looking for, I'm not looking to take a trade. And I wrote that down, and you can literally see the exact point in time. Let me zoom in right here. You can see it, 2025 08 31. That's August 31st. If I go back to the website, when I want to look at the account overview, it doesn't show me the graph. It doesn't show me a better graph from July. It only shows up to September. It only ever shows up to the month. It doesn't go as far as to the beginning of the account. And that was kind of like a problem. And I needed to get that data so I could look at it and see, I can visualize the progress. Now, apart from all that, I also made a lot of changes in the way I trade. A very important, change that I made when, before we had this revival in the P&L. You can see I've, made quite a lot of money now because, I've wasted so much time doing the wrong things, and now I'm doing the right things and I'm seeing the right results. And if you look up here, AI, I love AI. AI was able to help me do this. It would have taken me probably like 3 weeks to do this on my own. So when I select the symbol, you can see my win rate overall is about 50%, right? And I hold my trades for an average of 398. That's about 6 hours, because 360 is 60 times 6. Anyway, it's a sample size of 138 trades. And this is a mixed sample size. So a mixed sample size of both the bad trades and then the good trades. And we've had a total PNL of down 1,000, because technically I'm down 1,000 from when I started this account. And this actually isn't the actual beginning of the account, because the broker had an issue where they had to transfer my account to like another broker. They changed the liquidity provider or something. You know how prop firms are. So this isn't the actual beginning of this account. I traded it for like 2 weeks before this happened, and I had to switch brokers. But it's basically the same thing, and that is, I'm not really missing out much because I don't trade much on this account. So basically, if you look down here, you see my profitability by symbol. You would notice that one asset sticks out the most, and that is the euro dollar, which is the asset I trade the most. And before I made this shift of putting my model down on paper, if you notice, most of the losses here did not come from the euro dollar. They came from so many other things. They came from the Dow, it came from the pound, it came from Ethereum, it came from USD JPY. I was trading so many assets. And if you look at my win rate per symbol, you can see that, for gold, it's around break even, 50% win rate. For USD JPY, it's around 50% win rate. But the win rate doesn't matter, because if you look at my P&L for just the euro dollar, look at this. This is parabolic. This is like, this is a healthy, consistent P&L chart on just the euro dollar, right? And this compares my performance on the euro dollar compared to the other assets. I wanted to make this video on my phone so you can see that I'm not like doctoring the website or anything. I'm not changing up the thing, because I couldn't get the thing out of this website. You can see that the data kind of corroborates the equity. The current equity of the account corroborates with how do I even explain this? It's so complicated. That's why I just want to pass the phase 1, because it's an evaluation account. I wanted to pass the phase 1 so I can, put in my archives and be like, okay, I was able to fight this drawdown, and I was able to do it because I was able to put my rules on paper. That's the only reason. I didn't change my model. I didn't go to a new mentor. I didn't buy a new course. All I did was put my model on paper. I made a post about it. I said, this weekend, go back into the drawing board. Don't go back testing and all of that rubbish. Just write your model down. If you cannot, because right here, you see I have a Notion where I have my entire model and I have everything that I think about during my model. It's like very extensive. And then I have a setup bank where I store my trades. And every single trade since I started this, there's another database where I was putting most of them before, but I made this one with like some extra variables that I can track myself to see where the mistakes are coming from, so I can cut the mistakes at the root. Because if you look at something like like this asset, this is the DAX. I've taken 2 trades on this DAX. I just recently started trading it, and it's not been profitable, and I'm still monitoring what is causing these losses. And if I can fix it, cool. If I can't fix it, I'm gonna throw the asset in the trash. I'm not gonna trade anymore. Look at the NASDAQ. I underperformed so much on the NASDAQ, and this would drive so many people to feel like they're not profitable because their strategy doesn't work on like a particular asset, and they're like, oh, if my strategy doesn't work on the NASDAQ, then it doesn't work. I don't know how to trade. And they're looking for solutions, and they're looking for this, and they're looking everywhere but within, right? And if you notice, I slowed down a lot on the NASDAQ. I barely take any trades, which is why it's steeper here, but it's not as steep down here because I've slowed down a lot. I don't take a lot of trades on the NASDAQ. And since I made that change of putting my model on paper, which was late August around here, you notice I haven't given the NASDAQ enough time to prove itself as something that I would, continue to trade for the remainder of my trading journey, right? If I look at USD JPY, I've not taken a lot of trades on it, right? And, it's just one straight line downward. If I look at XAE USD. I've taken a lot of trades on it, 41 trades, right? And these are all live trades, no back testing nonsense. These are trades that are influenced by real emotions, by my actions. And you can see over here, you can clearly, it's so visual. You can clearly see where, I was a bit slow, made a couple losses. And before this, I'd made some money on the XAE USD, but like I said, the firm had some issues. I'm going to try to incorporate the data from the other ones because I have it right here. If you look over here, you see that there's 2 that are failed. It says 2-phase evaluation failed and 2-phase failed. I didn't fail any of these accounts. If I open this account, you would actually see that it's in profit. This failed account, how is it failed if it's in profit, right? So I had a bit of trades on this account, but they had to transfer me to another account because they needed to change their liquidity provider. Not my fault. This one was also, if you know about my crypto fund, you know about these issues. Also this, I didn't fill the account. You can see, where's the equity? Equity is 103,000. Same thing with this one that shows failed. I didn't actually fill the account. And again, it's not that I have a problem with the prop firm. It's just so you can understand the discrepancy in the data. This video is getting a bit long, but basically my entire point is for you guys to go put your model on paper, please, because clearly you can see here, like I said, towards the end of August, look at the date down there. Where's the end of August on the XAE USD chart? This is the last week in August, the 21st of August. By this, it's already the 10th of September, right? And today is the 26th of September. So it's been a whole month. It's been a whole month since I started doing this. And look at this. This is parabolic. This is phenomenal. And it's not like the market suddenly became better, right? And now I would say that, people even saying that the markets are substantially worse than they were earlier in the year. So the problem was me. The problem was my indecisiveness. The problem was me not being sure of what I'm doing. And once I was able to increase that conviction just by a little bit, because I tell you, I still feel fear. I am still scared sometimes when I take some positions. And it's an eval. It's not even like, live funded or my personal funds. But look at the performance, because I've, to an extent, made the strategy mechanical. Look at this run. I made like 5K in one trade last week. And it just opened my eyes to the opportunities. And again, this is like the beginning of the journey. I haven't gone so far into it. Like I said, this is just 1 month. So it would be really interesting to see what happens if I sustain this for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a year, a long time from now, because this is basically like, you can visualize a genesis. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's the same strategy. It's not different. I just, all those little pieces that I would have lying around in my brain, and I would selectively pick when I use this and when I don't use what. I put all of those into one notion. And I told myself, if I cannot put it on paper, there's no reason, if I can't define what exactly it is I'm doing, every step. Step 1, stay away from every single step. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, power 3. I made these notes myself. Like, there's no mentor came and, here's a model for you to use. I had to go through all the mistakes myself. I had to make all the mistakes for months. And, making some money here and there is not enough. You can see that there's no consistency. There's ups and downs, deep points of drawdown, right? I had to define everything. I got the time frame selection that defines what time frames I use. We got the time-based ranges that define some things in the model. We got the stop placement. I can't move my stop anyhow. We got the protection profiles. We got some tips that I make up when I notice some things in the market. And I got like so many more things in my notebook where I have like interesting things in the market, things to not do. I note a lot of stuff. I talk to myself in this right here, and it's like, a lot of work has been put into this right here that you see, and it's not just some model. So the key takeaway in this video is already about 15 minutes. The key takeaway is to have set rules for your model. Don't be freeballing your model. Don't freestyle it. You're not going to make it if you're freestyling your model. Okay, even some discretionary traders, they're only discretionary because they've been trading that same model for so many years. It's like second nature now. You don't read a book to brush your teeth in the morning because you know how to brush your teeth. You don't need to go to a seminar to know how to have a bath. You don't need somebody to teach you how to eat every morning when you want to have cereal. You don't need someone to teach you how to make a sandwich because you've probably done it so many times. You know every step you need to take. As a new trader, you don't have that edge. You cannot be discretionary. You need to be guided by something that is concrete, something that you can't lie to yourself about. If you take a trade and that trade is not according to your model, you can clearly tell yourself the truth based on what you've written down, not based on some thing that's in your head that sometimes your brain gets foggy and you can't even remember if you actually took what you wanted to take, or if it's like if you made them, you can't track where the mistakes are coming from. You can't, it's a whole mess, right? So that's the whole point of this all. There's nothing too serious about it. And that's pretty much it. Like if I go to the equity curve of just the past month, look at this, right? And like I said, this same account, this is the prop firm dashboard. I'm going to refresh the page. You can see right here that, let me go to the one that I'm going to let it load up. The one that's in progress, you can see that it's still in the negative. That's kind of weird because the equity, where's the equity? The equity is above 100,000, right? But the net P&L is in the negative because it transferred me from a previous account to this one when I was already in profit. So, that's why it's like that. And basically after all that progress, it still seems like I haven't made any progress. But that's just because I'm just starting to make the progress. And hopefully this will roll over into October and then November and then December, and I'll make an update to this video. And it's just to prove that the problem is you. The problem is me. The problem is not the strategy. Like, I believe you can trade if you're trading mean reversions, if you're trading moving averages, you're trading VWAPs, you're trading volume, order flow, absorption, all that kind of stuff, zones, LVNs. It doesn't matter what you're trading. If you're trading, you need it to be on paper. That's the only thing that matters, because if it's not on paper, your brain just lies to you. Your brain straight up gaslights you. I'm not even joking. You straight up lie to yourself and be like, oh, but I took my model. And I did this for months, right? For months, I was telling myself, and, a lot of things could have caused maybe some personal issues in my life that I would rather not talk about. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the part I can share with you, and I believe that this is the most important part. And that's pretty much it. That really is pretty much it. So that's it, yeah. Join my community, by the way. We do this every week. Like all of these gains that I made last week, I talked about all of them live. I explained the process, the thought process, every single thing. I showed my entry. Yeah. The point is not to show you a signal. The point is to just make you believe that it is possible if you put in the work.